Hey there, good morning, Bella Vista. Boy, are we going to talk about it today. This is JB Portillo, and this segment is called Let's Talk About It. I can't wait to introduce you to these folks. This is Richard and Tina Lorenz, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we have an artist.
Ta-da.
That is me.
That would be you, and we have the author.
Guilty.
Guilty, okay. So, what a partnership. I'd like to know a little bit about you guys. You know, give me the elevator speech on how'd you meet and how'd you get together?
Well, that's a good question.
I was a newspaper editor and wanted to interview him for a magazine I was writing for as well, and he denied interview about 4 times, and then I just demanded it. And that's kind of our first introduction. He met me, I interviewed him, and then we went our separate ways. It was a simple interview, and I did it on a dare from another artist. And
A dare.
A dare. I really wanted to do this story on this gentleman that pulled the cypress out of the swamps of Louisiana where we lived, and he made this beautiful furniture. And Rick happened to be best friends with his son. And I didn't know who Rick was, but I wanted to really interview this guy. And he said, interview this shy artist. He won't do an interview. And I said, I'll get one. And I did. I actually got both interviews.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think I turned down the interview at least, or the request 3 or 4 times. I want to preface this. First of all, thanks for having us
Yes,
on the show, JB. We are from South Louisiana. We came up here during the hurricanes in 2005 and settled here in Northwest Arkansas. So when she talks about the newspaper and the editing, she was the editor of a newspaper, a small town in Louisiana, and she was trying to get us to trying to get an interview with me, and I was very introverted, and you know I didn't do interviews, and I turned it down at least 4 times. I think
At
4
least,
times.
Yeah.
Did you just do it on purpose, or you really didn't want to?
No, I didn't want to
Shy.
interview. No,
Gotcha.
no, I did what I did, and you know, my paintings made a living with my art all my life. Tina was a writer, and she's writing many things, not just an editor, but you know,
Magazines,
stories of
different magazines.
growing up in the South, which is hilarious, and she'll be coming out with a new series soon. So yeah, that's how we met. She somehow
captured you.
finagled it, you know. I think we met at the Tourist Bureau.
Yeah. I actually was supposed to do an interview with Ernest Grant, and it got canceled. And I was like, oh, I got to fill somebody in. This little artist from, you know, Louisiana. And he, at the time, he was doing whimsical painting of little people that lived in the swamp, as well as wildlife painting.
Gotcha.
And I thought it was very interesting, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how we met.
But you know, you said something before the show that I'm amazed. You have not had any art training whatsoever.
No, I'm self-taught. My dad was military, so we moved around a lot. So every 1 to 2 years, ended up at a new school. Either didn't have art or I just missed art. I got 1 semester in high school, and so that's it. I think I mentioned to someone, maybe in the long run, it was good not to know what the rules are, because I don't know where the boundaries are. So.
That makes
Just
perfect sense to me.
Keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you help with the paintings at all?
I do some of the background for years. I did photography, being in Louisiana, photos, and my thing was cemeteries and angels. And
Oh, yeah.
I've been known in the area. We came up 20-something years ago and did War Eagle with the angels. And me and my sister, that was our thing that we did together. And
She was known as the
as far
Angel
as
Lady.
as far as the back,
The Angel Lady.
Okay. Yeah, but my halo's a little tattered.
Rusty old halo and a dingy white cloud.
Right. So on the birds, I do a lot of the backgrounds. I don't know how to paint. But I like to splatter paint and make a background, and he'll scan it in.
Yeah,
and
we'll get it either outside or downstairs somewhere and just start doing a bunch of backgrounds. Traditionally,
love to
just
throw the
some
paint.
painted backgrounds to use as the background for my paintings, which at this point are now digital. Did we talk about that at all?
No,
Not
but
yet.
But that's
so jump
okay.
right in.
Talk about it.
So now everything I do, including the pieces you see behind you, was all created on an iPad. So it's a digital painting printed on canvas, as you see here.
Why birds?
People ask me that all the time. I have no really good answer for that, except for, at 3 years old, I was drawing birds, and I think I'm drawn to the whole etherical nature of birds and the freedom that they have, and just being free, and I've always been attracted to them. I've had birds in the past.
But these are whimsical birds. These are not like
Yes.
birds flying around.
Well, so growing up in Louisiana, I did a lot of wildlife, and a lot of those were ducks, of course, and tons of ducks.
He has the
I had
98 duck stamp in Louisiana, too.
So I had the 97, 98 Louisiana State Duck Stamp, won that competition then, and continued to do that for many years. I actually woke up one morning and said, I've had enough. Lots of grays and browns and boring and blah, 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 blah. But I still want to do my birds, but I wanted to make them fun. And what happened is, as you can see, what evolved, the birds became more like people I know.
Oh.
So I'm actually looking at, you can ask, the next question is where do you get your inspiration for the people? People.
Okay. So these are not birds, they're people. A personality.
You'll find
Yes,
someone you know if you look through some of these birds.
Okay.
And so that's what happened when we started incorporating some of the silly birds into the more formal pieces. They would always sell first, and people would be drawn to them as in this way, oh, that's so-and-so, or that's me, or that's Aunt Joe. And at that point, we realized we had something.
There you go. Well, let's look at some. And you can talk about those particular ones and who they are and all that. Oh, who's this?
That's Floyd. He is inspiration. What was that place, Rick, in Florida? Ringling Brothers Circus.
So we
went there and seen so many cool things. And every show, we used to do shows, 20 plus years, fine art shows around the country, and people would come into our booth and they'd say, I have no talent, no talent. And Floyd, he had no clue he was the fish whisperer. He understood the language of fish.
Oh.
So Rick painted him, he's one of my favorite, just because, we all have a talent.
Yes.
So you can see, well, that's Louie.
Louie.
What about Louie?
So Tina actually, let me preface this, Tina names the birds, and she comes up with the backstories most of the time, and she tells me when I'm finished with a painting, if I need to add this or add that. Usually I need to add some bling, some more colors, maybe a sidekick or a partner.
Yeah.
You can see Ramon is in this piece. This particular image, so you'll notice a lot of my images have a Wonderland flair to them. That's always been my favorite story. And Be the Bird is our brand. It's also our message. Be yourself.
Be who you
it's
are.
okay to be yourself. And the Wonderland story, of course, is very similar. Find yourself, be who you are. So
Louie.
as we went along, the images, you can see the influences in that particular piece with Louie. So this is Odie. Odie's my little chubby red bird. And I had to put him in a snow scene.
With his little skis.
He's our first guardian of the garden. This one is Cletus. He's our early bird.
Yeah.
Does the early bird really get the worm? That's the question here. So the piece, just like art, is all about your interpretation of the piece. I try not to describe them too much.
Yes.
I ask people, what do you see?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, look at this one.
Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae.
So that one may be based on someone loosely that I know.
Someone very
who wears
colorful.
a lot of red glasses.
Yeah,
and,
red glasses.
So usually, and for some reason, this little grumpy bird, Otis,
That's Otis.
the kids seem to think is me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Otis and Ellie Mae,
Mae.
they're kind of a
couple.
I gotcha. So how do you come up with, you just look at the picture and the story just...
Sometimes or I will tell Rick, we need, like I've been begging him for a flamingo. We need a flamingo. In my version of a flamingo, I wanted to put her on a pole dancing and everything. His version was not quite like my version. And I wanted to name her Fabiola after my grandmother because I loved
It's a real name.
my grandmother's name. It's such a cool name. And this is, he came up with Fabiola. But a lot of times I'll either look at a glimpse of what he's doing and I don't want to see any more.
Okay.
Until it's almost completely done, and then I'll come in and say, where's her rings? And you'll notice a lot of them have tattoos or piercings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm too scared to get one.
Oh, so you do it for
some
the
of them
bird.
will
Oh,
have
let's
one.
look here. Does that one have?
May. Now, she is a huge Elvis fan. She does have a tattoo. She's our first one with a tattoo right here. And that's an ode to my mother. And May is all about taking care of yourself and keeping your friends close. She's our little Cajun chef.
Gotcha.
A lot of symbolism in that piece, and again, loosely based on somebody I know. But a lot of Louisiana influences in that particular piece.
Yeah.
Louisiana is such a magical place for me. I am you were talking earlier about graveyards and things like that. I'm a George Rodriguez fan.
Oh, yeah.
I have a big blue dog on stump in my living room.
Yes.
Yeah, you too?
Our first gallery was in Henderson where George started, and we showed together.
Yeah.
He still has a gallery on Royal Street in New Orleans.
Yeah, and Germany and California. I mean, he's
all
gone.
over
but,
now, yeah.
but all over. Okay, so now, besides the art, which is fabulous, and I adore it,
Thank you.
you write children's books.
Yeah,
why
we
don't you
have
grab
3
one there?
children's books and a coloring book. We always forget the coloring book, but that's the coloring
We're going to be
book.
doing more of the coloring books. So during COVID, coloring blew up again.
It did.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So
Let's.
on our
They're gonna zone in on. So let's hold it
in.
real still so they can
That's
see.
This is our most recent, and then Tina's holding our first.
This one sold out in
it's-
less than a year.
Yeah, it's
and the
sold
year that
out.
COVID happened, actually.
Yep.
And then this is second for now.
Book 2.
I don't know if I can get
And,
it right.
and so the books are all about just little encouraging rhyming quotes for young people. I say of all ages because it's quite
and we just came out with book
an
3.
appropriate message for anyone. Be yourself.
Gotcha.
So
So the little mottos, little
Yeah.
moral or.
Well, it's just little inspirational quotes for all ages. And when I went to write it, I was writing it, I thought first for our grandchildren, and then I thought, but no, this is for our kids, and this is for me. This is for me. But I think one of the biggest compliments we ever received was from she was 93 years old, came in our booth and started thumbing through our first book, and she said, I need this every day, and you have to sign it, And we're like, oh, that's so sweet, and I don't even think we charged her for the book. She bought several pieces, and she said, it just makes me happy. It makes me smile.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so sweet. So it's meant for the child within.
There
That's
you
how
go.
I like to say it.
Absolutely.
And we'll keep this series going.
Yeah. We're going to take a break in a minute, but let's talk about these. Why did you pick these two to bring today? And let's talk about this guy.
Well, that's Finley.
Can you all zoom in on Finley for me here?
You want to read the quote there?
Oh, believing is the key. Courage sets you free.
So again, you see the Wonderland influence and what have you, but it's all about breaking away from what everybody else tells you to do and to be, and the corporation and the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all about finding yourself. So this guy is just very instrumental in helping people find themselves. He's setting that bird free there, and you see the black bird up there holds the key, and the key is actually, finding yourself.
Yeah.
So, once you start digging into the pieces a little bit, there's a little bit more to it. We get people all the time that, have this piece, I've been looking at it for years. It's a beautiful piece, and people buy it because they love the colors, and then they realize, oh, there's this, and then, there's a message, so, and that's the great part when they realize that.
What the mice? Tell me why mice?
Well, why not mice?
Oh, well, there you go. I'm sorry. I'm 30 years corporate. I'm trying to figure it out in my head.
Some of the pieces don't have any real significance except that they're witness to the fact that we all need to be real.
Be who we are. Let's flip over here if we can get somebody to this flamingo. That is a flamingo.
That is Fabiola, after my
Fabiola.
grandmother.
There you go.
Fabiola, you can see again a lot of the Wonderland influence, and it's also a reminder that we all have wings. Use them. Fabiola's getting a little round and lazy, and would
Skinny legs.
rather take the balloon
Nice boobs.
than use her wings. But we're all good at something. Find those wings, find those feathers, and use them.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and continue this saga. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back, and I've got to know. Tell me about the bubbles. Why bubbles in your art?
Yeah, if you may have noticed, there are bubbles in a lot of the pieces. I started that at 3 years old.
Oh, really?
I would do these little bubbles popping, and I remember my dad saying how unique that was, and I really didn't know what it was all about until I started thinking about things. But anyway, bubbles in my pieces represent the magic. It's the magic, So bubbles exist in two worlds. They're liquid and they're floating in air. It's magic. We see that, so it's just the magic.
Man, I'll never look at a bubble the same again.
Yeah, there you go.
Thankfully, I met you because, I spent all this time just thinking they were bubbles.
And it's right in front of you, this magical thing that's happening.
That's exactly right. So how do people respond to your art? You kind of talked about that, but, you have people walk in there and they probably stay there forever just looking at things, right?
There is a lot of that.
I could tell you another one of the best compliments that I got was this gentleman that came into our art show up in Colorado, and it was a really prestigious art show, and he kept looking at me really strange. And I thought, oh, because we get some woozies in there sometimes.
Sure.
And I like the fun and the thrill of it all, but he looked at me, he was getting ready to leave, and he goes, I'll be back. And he said, you're a little crazy, aren't you? And I said, maybe. He said, well, honey, you're my kind of crazy, I think. And he was looking at all the birds, and he was just blown away. And what happens at a lot of our art shows, we can't even hardly get in our booth. If I leave our booth, I can't get in our booth unless I sneak around the back, because the booth is always full of people pointing and laughing and just giggling. They just can relate to so many different images.
Let's look at some more of your images here. I think we're going to,
That's
like
a good
at our
example of
show.
one of our events.
We've got awards all over the country, some really, really prestigious awards.
So, we did that for over 20 years. That was our living, traveling all over big events and shows around the country. And then when COVID hit,
we set up in our living
our
room.
business didn't slow down, it stopped.
Yeah,
and we
they
were in
closed
quite
all the shows.
quite a pickle.
Yeah.
And so we had been living here. We've been in Bella Vista for 11 years now. This year will be 11 years. And when we evacuated here, our point was to be, let's just be tourists. Let's just enjoy the area, because our business was scattered around the nation. We didn't have to do business here. And then COVID hit, and we were out of business. So we set up our living room for our online. We did Facebook Lives every day. We did Instagram and YouTube, and we were just struggling to try to stay afloat. And it was quite a struggle for 2 years. A lot of our artist friends went out of business during this time. But somehow we made it, and now we realized in this short period that we needed to network locally. We had to start this thing again. And that's what we're doing now.
So what came out of that too, though, we have customers from all over the country, from Florida to California to Wisconsin, that come see us now.
Oh.
And we do the War Eagle. We've been doing that show 22 years, where the big tents are over by the mill. So they come. They know we are at that show every year. They come see us, and they come see us
Yeah, and then our main outlet is Art on the Square there in Bentonville.
Gotcha.
Just downtown Bentonville.
Yeah, it's kind of there on the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help but you walk by there and you have to go in there.
Yeah,
It's a great collective
really great.
of many local artists there, so we're happy to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and so how do people get a hold of you?
BeTheBird.com is the website. You can find our work there. Like I said, locally, Bentonville, in Bentonville is Art on the Square. We've got a place in
Branson.
Eureka, place in Branson.
Peter Engler and Branson.
Shops scattered all over the country, but locally, that's the best way.
Okay, okay. Well, let's see, do we have some more? Let's see what else we have.
Oh. So it's a big biking community here, and we both bike, and we love the trails. And so I've got a series of 3 bike posters now that we've created. You'll see Bella Vista mentioned there on that particular image. And those are available, like I said, through the website or at the store there in Bentonville.
Okay, okay. Oh, boy.
Well, we have done some collaborations. This is with Crystal Bridges and ORT, Ozark Regional Transit, excuse me. And yeah, we've done some decorations there on some of the local vans there.
Go ahead.
I just seen that bus again the other day. It seemed like everybody was emailing or texting us, I seen your bus, but we had not seen it yet.
Oh,
and
Call it
man,
the bird bus.
the bird bus. And then when we seen it, it kind of drove up beside us a little bit after it was done, and it was so cool to see your art.
So now we
on the
get bird bus
like that.
sightings.
Do you really?
People
all the time.
Facebook us, I saw and send a picture.
Yeah.
So you just, I know you said you started with a people or an idea or whatever, but do you ever just start with a message and then create the bird, or is the bird first, or how does that work?
All the above.
All the above.
It's a collaboration.
So there could be a JB bird on the horizon. And, yes, it's inspired by different people. So when we're in these big crowds, we're always looking for that one bird that stands out. You mean
kind of like
one,
Tina?
Yeah.
The one that's
The
not
fun,
afraid
crazy one.
not afraid to be themselves.
Yeah.
And just doing their own thing. I've been inspired by customers that have come into the booth, and after they leave, I'm doing a little sketch.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
All right, so War Eagle is in October.
Always the third Thursday in October.
Thursday in October.
Weekend.
Weekend.
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you'll always find us in Tent 4. We've been doing that for over 20 years. We were coming up from
Yeah.
Louisiana to do that
We've
show.
even done the Bella Vista one when we first.
Oh, yeah, we did many
So,
years in
yeah.
Bella Vista, yeah.
Yeah, I wish that had come back. We missed that quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Do you have any, what would you like to say to the audience today? Anything in particular? You never know, you might be the bird. Shoot the bird.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Be the bird is its own message, it's be yourself. I think that's why people are attracted to our work. Number one, people want to smile. They need a reason to smile. And nowadays, stop watching the news. Not this. You've got to watch this show.
So there's also a place. I want to show the place that I do my writing and my own creating as well. I think we have, there it is. Rick and my son-in-law, Alan, built that for me. And then right after they built it, I had a little health scare, so I couldn't get down to it for almost 2 years. But it is my little sacred place. I love my little cottage.
It's like a storybook. Yeah.
And if we were to speak on that, Tina's been brewing these stories of growing up in the South as little short stories. And that's
Honey Please with T. Louise.
T. Louise.
That's a series I'm working on right now.
So is that going to be a book, or is that going to
Yes.
be
Several books, and there will be some art.
Short stories.
Okay. I was thinking it was going to be more like in the newspaper, like ask T. Louise, and she'll give you
Hadn't really
answer to the
decided. We don't
question.
know how big it will grow yet, but it's been brewing for a while, so it's just time now.
So it's apples and oranges. We have the
Yeah, more,
birds,
yeah.
and then Tina. It's time for Tina to get her short stories out there. So we're working on that.
Okay.
That'll be out soon.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to have to do this again sometime. We're kind of out of time, but not really.
We're happy to be
I
here.
am just delighted.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. And again, I can't say enough for somebody that's supposed to be really shy. You're not. When you're passionate, you're not.
And that's the key right there. Just whatever you're excited about. And people, really quick, when people ask, what, I'm not good at, I don't have a talent, I'm not good at this, what have you. Yes, you do. You just have to find it and then go with that. And the secret to all of it is follow your passion.
Okay.
That is what will make you great.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds like a good way to end the show today. Thank you so much.
Oh,
You're
thank
so
you for
fun.
having
Thanks for having us.
And I'm stealing that coat when or copying it when it's here. So anyway, hey, Bella Vista, we talked about it today, and we're going to talk about it some more next time. So stay tuned. We'll see you next month. And be the bird.
There you go. Be the bird.